hide and seek.
Hello. As you can see, I have dyed my hair, and yes, this is very much post Laudna. And this is the Laudna part 2 video. In this video, I kind of wanted to talk about what it took for me not only to finish up my cosplay, but also about my experience at the RenFaire and some things that I would like to change about my costume before I don the attire next. I hope that you can sit back, enjoy this video. I'm going to be talking about first finishing up the outfit that I inevitably wore to the Renaissance Fair, my experience at the Renaissance Fair, and then some tips and pointers that I wanted to give to people about the voice and physicality of being Laudna, but that will come later. First part of this video is I finished up the shirt that I was working on. I used fabric glue to glue some red ribbon along the collar of the shirt. I completely tore up and frayed the fabric of the skirt in the top layer of the lace, and really kind of frayed out some holes that were going to be on that top layer, so you could kind of see that gray layer peeking through a bit more. And I did a second round of the ooey gooey hands that I made. Actually, let me go put them on. So I used, I think it's like Paisley and something. I forget the channel's official name, but I used her video as kind of like a guideline of how I wanted to engineer, I guess one would say, how I wanted to make these hands. They're very easy to take on and off, I have to say, which was so nice. So you'll see I tried this 2 times because the first time that I did it, the hands came out a little too chaotic. It looked more like the Venom like symbiote as opposed to ooey gooey drippy Laudna-ness. And I think it's because the first time I just used hot glue on top of the nails. Second time, this is what I did. Shadow Realm editing, Ariana here, to say that I forgot to mention the first part of this is that you need to get a creepy hand mannequin to put a latex glove underneath the mesh glove that you are going to be gluing the coffin-shaped nails to, and then painting black before you start attaching any strings underneath. So then once I had the string on and underneath the nails, I then added some hot glue under the nails to give under the backside of the fingers on the fingertips to make them seem a little bit more drippy and like that was the source of the sinew. And then I also went along the string very delicately and tried to pull up some little globules of glue. And then I dunked it all into black liquid latex, let it dry. And as it was drying, I would very delicately kind of I think I took a chopstick. Taking a chopstick, I would just go over the little beads that were forming and try to add little bits of extra black liquid latex so that they would bead up even more. And this is the final result that I ended up with. We were in a very dusty place and I had to dust them with transparent makeup powder so that they weren't so sticky and stuff and would stick to stuff. I tried right here to have it be a little more loopy. I don't know if you can see. I tried to make it a little bit more loopy, but it didn't quite work out. But the general drip oozy effect is still there. And I think this, honestly, is what sold my cosplay. It was just so fun to wave at people at the fair when people would try to give me things, try to grab it and have it in these hands. They really were the piece de resistance of my cosplay. What else did I do for Laudna? Yeah, then the other thing was just general makeup. I just looked at the source image and did that. The hair. And I would definitely recommend getting a wig. After I had my fingers and the rest of my costume all together, it was time to go to the fair. I went with my friends that I play D&D with and their roommates or significant others, and it was just a really fun time. The majority of us were dressed up to the best of our abilities. The majority of us were dressed up to the best of our abilities, and it's always nice going to the fair with a big group. We first showed up and I saw a person dressed up like a plague doctor, and I immediately had to have a photo with him because of pate. And I don't know if he knew who I was, but I just had to have a photo with him. And then the next person I saw was actually Percival von Friedrichstein Kowalski Derolo III. I don't know if I got all of that right. I can't remember Percy's full name. But I saw another cosplayer who was dressed up as Percy. And I thought, I have to go up to him and say hello. So I went up to him and I said, hello. And, was just in character as Laudna, and it was a lot of fun to introduce him to pate and talk as pate. My whole gimmick was whenever I would talk to people, I would immediately, of course, just be in that Laudna voice and ask people if they've seen Imogen or if they've seen pate. And then if they said no, which the majority of people would respond with that. Hello, have you seen sashimi? I'm trying to find her. Oh, I'm just looking for my girlfriend. I'm really horny. It was just that the whole time. Pate is pretty easy to roleplay as. After Percy, we wandered around and got food. We also decided to shoot some arrows, which I have experience shooting bows and arrows in my past, but not in full geesh and full costume. You feel me? I was given a round of arrows that my DM and his lovely girlfriend so generously purchased for me because they were like, this is sacrilegious for you to not shoot a couple of arrows at the shooting range. And I was doing okay until someone came up and started talking to me, and then I just immediately started doing absolute ass. After that, we wandered around some more, and I spotted in the crowd a custom dice maker. Her name is Evelyn, and she has a shop on the internet, of course. That's where I am right now, the internet. And she has a shop on the internet called Evelyn's Workshop. I think she was also in some D&D podcast with a character that she plays. But her dice are just like cream of the crop. So gorgeous. I really recommend checking them out. I was so happy when I saw her and was able to take a picture with them. And continued on my way in the fair. My merry little way with my friends. And the ending of my day, which was an absolute just cherry on a fantastic day, was this group who was dressed up as the Mighty Nine. It was hilarious because I was standing there talking with my friends, and then across the way, I just locked eyes with their Beau cosplayer, and it was just this weird, like, spidey sense. We both cosplay Marisha Ray characters. Like, we obviously are all critters. We all watch Critical Role. Let's just come over and hang out with each other. So she brought the whole crew. They had Jester, Beau, Yasha, Caleb, and Not. The Zoe Noodles, the girl that they had doing Not, was just, oh my god, so good. She had the little mannerisms down, and the makeup and costumes were just spectacular. But I wanted to share with you these little treasures that I was gifted that I was gifted all of at the RenFaire. First, I got this random stone. I decided to take this kind of like blood red colored chip of a stone for Laudna. And then when I met the Mighty Nine, Caleb he let me pick from a bag of dice, and I took this kind of gray, smoky gray, transparent D20. Not gifted me a heart button, and Jester gave me a cupcake and a bell. So these are all of the treasures that I got at the Renaissance Fair. And of course, being Laudna, I also picked up some tea. I was looking for a chai or a rooibos, and they had a good chai that I was excited about. So I purchased the chai. And that is the tale of Laudna at the RenFaire. It was full of fun times, lots of sun, and dust. Lots and lots of dust. That brings me to the point of this video that I would like to get to, which is things that I would like to change about this build. First and foremost, I would recommend getting a wig. I used hair extensions for the first time in my life, and it was, kind of a little bit of a fail. I'm not really a girl who's very good with my hair. I think also the haircut that I had just got was not indicative of wearing extensions, but whatever. I made it work and covered up my mistakes to the best of my ability. But for ease of future costume wearing, I definitely am going to try to get a hold of a black wig and sew some white wefts into it so that I can just have easily accessible and put onable Laudna hair. The other thing that I would like to change about my Laudna cosplay is adding some sort of black waist cincher. I had so much of her accoutrements on the belt and, pate. Love him, but the Sculpey Clay head does kind of weigh a bit much, and he was kind of dragging my belt down a little bit. So I think in order to combat that, if I am able to acquire some sort of black waist cincher, I can sew the piece of twine that has all of her accoutrements on it to the waist cincher, which will hold better than a belt that has elastic on the back of it and can bow forward. Because in some photos, you'll notice, like in the front, it was more bowed out than I would have liked it to have been. I would like it to be a little bit tighter and to have the lacing in the front and where it's supposed to end, like in the reference source picture that I have here. Another thing that I would like to change about my Laudna cosplay is these ear cuffs that I used. Like I said, I obliterated them with gold spray paint, and that proved to be a bit of a problem because they got stuck to my warm ear flesh and my hair. It was awful getting these off and out of my hair because they're just sticky, you know, like they were in a warm environment and right up against my warm ass dome. So they probably exacerbated the situation, but that's okay because I would definitely recommend getting actual gold metal ones instead of spray painting them. It's just going to be a bad time with your hair and your ear skin. Trust me. All right, that does it. Thanks for watching my second Laudna video. The third one will be coming out, which is about physicality and inhabiting the character. But until I get done with it, I will catch you in my next one, whatever it is.